4:44. I'll be back. It's my favorite of all of the spirit numbers on the clock. Let me show you where I get my spirit numbers from. Obviously from my phone up here, 3:33 right now, as I say that. But I also get it off of my microwave over here. So I'll come in here, and it'll be 3:33 on the dial, you know. But it's a little slow because my hand was slow when I timed it probably. But it's about to turn to 3:33. Okay, as I say that right. You think that was edited, or you think that was AI? What do you think? All right, whatever it was what it was. See Boom over here. See Boom's life is pretty easy. He doesn't really have to do much. He just gets on the couch and then he gets his treats at 3:33 a.m. in the morning. Me personally, I have to make my own treats. He gets his treats handed to him, handed to him. You understand that? So how do we know that we're not the bosses if we're serving the dogs? How do you know that you're the top of the food chain? Let me tell you, you're not. The only thing that determines the difference between you being a human that's at the top of the food chain or being the person that's at the bottom of the food chain, if you think dogs are at the bottom of the food chain, but you're serving them and you're walking them to go pee, then probably you're lower than them on the food chain. But we're not talking about service here, because when we talk about that, we have to think about colonies, colonization, creatures like cockroaches and bees, hives, for example. Who starves in a hive? It's impossible to starve in the hive when you serve the greater good. Here's why. Your abundance is so great when you bring your part. You understand how big the abundance is when you're working all day and you're eating all day for yourself. You're full when you get there, and there's an abundance waiting for your entire winter. It's like a chipmunk that's like successful every single time, even when he has nothing. He returns to the colony and he's still just as loved as if he had worked really hard. So you just understand that's like our children. They don't yet know that they are on the top of the food chain. And it's your responsibility to see that as an adult, that you're not on the top of the food chain as an adult if you think that 18 is 19 is an adult. If you believe that and you're one of the like 99% of underparenting adults who don't give a shit what somebody else's kid does with their life, that's 98% of people. And I'm going to take 2% off the top. 1% people like me who know the difference between an adult and a child or a teenager. I should probably say that's like young adult, just to be kind to you teenagers who think you know something. Because this is actually the difference between knowing why your consequences harm you and where you're not. So the fruit of the spirit, which is beyond this, I can't even show my true form because if I show you who I am and what I'm doing here, you'd be so frightened to see my true character that you won't even know. But I can give you that as a fruit of what it would be if you got to see me. And the fruit of it is that there's a difference between somebody who makes a choice and sins on purpose, like angels do. You think angels are nice? They're not. They're not going to be nice to you, okay? They might come and save you, yeah, but they have their own agenda. And what that means is that they sin. They didn't come down here to like make friends and be fluffy and no, they're pissed off when they come down here. They're disobeying God. God didn't say for them to come down here, okay? They came down here with free will, all right? So when we say that we come down here with free will, it's like we come down here to influence, we come down here to raise hell, or we come down here to wage war because we're upset with free will itself. We're upset with frustrated like how it is. That's how our ego gets formed. And what is ego? Ego is like your storyline and shit, right? So if I show you my storyline, you're so frightened you wouldn't be able to deal with me. So I have to make up this other persona, this soft guy that you're looking at right now that's got those like lines in his eyes and he looks weak and he has no inner strength and he's a pushover. Obviously he can't breathe. So that means if you've met him, you could like intimidate him and be bully him and stuff. And that's a facade. There's nothing like that inside. I'm a super powerful person that has so many experiences to share that I can't even like tell you anything in a simple terms about myself. There's nothing simple about my past. Everything's so complicated that you can't even fathom how dumb the narrative is. So the ego itself, I'm here to tell you, is like It's candy for the soul. It's like the child embracing itself and writing poetry for the first time, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it was a coincidence. No, it wasn't a coincidence, because God makes you beautiful to begin with, and then you fuck it up, and your ego fucks it up. You resist it. You know, you don't want to be successful. You sit there, you don't want to be successful. I'm not talking about myself. I'm already successful. I mean, you want to see? I got 4 people in the chat right now. That's it. Look at this. That's what success looks like. When you own that and you don't have a mortgage, that's called success. Okay? When you own all that and you own it and you don't owe anybody anything, then that's a success. Having children, that's a success. That's a success, right? Having children is a success. It's not about just ignoring the hate. It's beyond seeing that hate is a product of love itself. That love is itself could be itself the evil. Love itself could be the evil as well. It can be both ways. It's not just that hate is hatred. Hate could be love. Hate can be expressed through love. Love can be hate. Hate can be love. It's the same synonymous thing. But I'm not here to say like oneness. I mean, the angels didn't come down here to say it's one. They came down here to do something. Okay, they're going to give you one of two things. They're going to tempt you. Okay, they're going to stumble you, and they're going to do it where you can't get out of the way. Or number two, they're going to help you. They're going to cheat for you because they're cheaters. They didn't come down here to just be fair. In fact, fairness wasn't a part of the plan. They're not here for fairness. They're not here to be fair with you or follow rules or anything. They'll write rules, they'll change the rules. Just like you have the authority as a young child to change the rule, you can change the rule by raising your hand and changing the rule and say, I don't agree with the rule, here's why. And then you give your reasoning why. And a good example would be, I don't think the color wheel in the art room is looking, art teacher, I don't think the color wheel has all the colors on it. I'm missing brown, and I need brown on there because there's brown people in the room, and you're offending me. You don't have brown on the color wheel. Why not? You got all the other colors there. Black and white's not a color, so you can't argue that. But when it comes to brown, brown's a color, right? It's not black or white. So why is it not represented on the color wheel? Oh, well, we're only showing the tributary colors and the primary and the secondary colors. We don't know what brown is. Brown is not when you mix everything up, okay? Brown is not when you mix everything up. Brown is just orange and red. You can get there, okay? You know, you can get there without much thought, all right? Like that's a color. That's not on the color wheel for a reason. So you raise your hand and say, I want that color wheel taken down until that color wheel is accurate. Because there's a lot of colors in brown. Sorry to tell you. And it's not about race or being African American. It's not about being black. It's about being a human and recognizing that the rules themselves don't add up. And so I'm here to tell you that you do have a choice to not tolerate hypocrisy. And you can say it this way to them. The difference between an angel and a human is that when the angel sins, they did it on purpose. They weren't tempted. But when a human sins, they are just copying somebody else, and now they're going to get in trouble for something that they didn't even make up. I came on at 3:30 a.m. to tell you that. That's all I'm here to tell you is that when you did something wrong and you were actually tempted, you're not wrong. You're just copying like a little monkey. That's the difference between an adult and a child. The child is just copying you. The adult, the angel that came from heaven that actually deliberately is stomping on fools, they're not tempted. They're not being tempted. All right. When they sin, they are doing a crime. Okay. There's a difference between a criminal who knows what they're doing and somebody who's been tempted. Okay. And that is that little answer that I wanted to tell you between someone who's a sex offender and someone who's a victim who's being actually sexually harassed by their government. Because hate and terror campaigns, my friends, is not justice. That is fucking terror network. And that is terrorizing the neighborhoods and terrorizing our country with people that are 50% morons. And 50% of those people that are listed on that site are already ex criminals that don't have confidence in themselves. But yet we want to weaponize this whole idea that we have enemies. And here's why, because we want to believe that we as adults have better judgment than each other. We do. We want to believe it. But in fact, we are either tempted or we are intimately, if we are an angel, that is, and we do have free will, and we don't have sin, which means we don't have addiction. Then when we sin, we're sinning deliberately, and in that case, it's a totally different thing because we're sinning by ourselves. You're not sinning with help. You're not sinning because there's somebody else around you that's influencing you. You're sinning because you're a badass. And that's why the chat cleared. It's because there's a difference